everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. We're going to get to all of you from wherever you may be joining us, from where you may be joining us today. I'm Liz Mancini, Senior Manager of Member Services for AAPA. Welcome to today's webinar, Telling the Fresh Story, Driving Port Innovation and Solutions, hosted by our friends at Fresh Consulting. So welcome today to AAPA's latest member-hosted webinar of 2023. We have more exciting virtual and in-person programs planned for this year and beyond. So if you're interested in learning about them, please hang around for just a couple of minutes following the conclusion of this presentation, and I'll be happy to share with you some of the additional ways that you can engage, learn, and network over the next several months through AAPA. Today, Fresh will discuss how ports are presented with opportunities to innovate, including digital transformation, augmented reality, robotics, automation, machine learning, biometrics, and more. Fresh Consulting brings not only the technical expertise needed to build solutions in each area, but also the background in strategic communications and consultation, needed to implement port-specific initiatives that have a lasting impact. We are excited to hear what our experts, Steve and Tammy from Fresh, have to share with us today. We will be happy to take your questions at the end of the presentation, so feel free to post your questions in the question box as you think of them, or when we get to the Q&A. And if there's questions you have after the presentation, please either reach out to me, Steve, or Tammy, and we will get them answered for you. So let's get started. I would like to introduce you to our presenters today, Dr. Steve Elmore, Managing Director, and Dr. Tammy Coffey, Director of Governments and Ports for Fresh Consulting. Dr. Elmore leads Fresh's business development team. He is a respected technology leader and trusted advisor to some of the world's largest enterprises. His background includes artificial intelligence and machine learning, big data, social enterprise, large systems integration, and software development. He holds a doctorate in organizational leadership ethics and is an alumnus of the Learning Innovation Lab, LILA, at the Harvard School of Education. He is a published author and has been featured in the Journal of Leadership Studies. Dr. Coffey is a seasoned professional with a proven track record of successfully launching and promoting products and services across diverse markets. In addition to a doctorate in business administration, DBA, from California Coast University and undergraduate business administration and management degrees, she has over 2 decades of experience in the public safety and law enforcement technology industry. Now that the intros have concluded, I will go ahead and turn it over to our speakers. Tammy and Steve, the mic is yours.
Thank you so much, Liz. Greatly appreciate the kind introduction. Everyone, welcome. Glad to have you here. Want to begin this with just a little bit about Fresh and who we are. So again, I am Steve Elmore. I lead business development for Fresh. Have an amazing team of folks all over the world that help us work with our clients to develop solutions in areas of design, strategy, software development, different aspects of hardware development, which include robotics and automation, a ton of different areas. Super happy to be a part of this team and be able to work with multiple industries, but in particular, port maritime industry is a deep passion for us, an area where we have intense focus. To that extent, we have a leader for that, and that is Tammy Coffey. Tammy.
Hi, everyone. Just 5 minutes before this, the power went out. So if I lose you, I'll get right back on. But it's great to be here today and looking forward to speaking with some of you after this presentation. And we're just super excited to be here to share Fresh Consulting and what we do and what we can offer and work together. Thank you.
So thanks, Tammy. So we have a really amazing multidisciplinary team. We have about 460 people at Fresh that continues to grow. We were founded about 15 years ago in our founder's grandmother's basement, beginning kind of like with Web 2.0 type projects, which led into more sophisticated capabilities around software and app development, and then turned into a very robust hardware development capability, including building robots and drones and doing computer vision. We're an award-winning company. We work with some of the largest companies in the world, including Meta, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and we work with small companies as well. We work with startups and again have a long history of working with companies on innovation and finding solutions for really unique problems. Our superpower is our ability to take multidisciplinary teams to be in a state of constantly working with new and original problems and coming up with solutions for them. So we have offices throughout North America, some in Asia, and in Latin America. So one of the things we want to talk about is the innovation imperative, which is really critical for ports. And there's the old saying, once you've been to a port, you've been to one port, but there are a lot of common challenges that ports face, not only in the United States, but around the world. And so that's everything from port traffic and the challenges with increased traffic, especially when there are incidents, the focus on finding more environmentally friendly approaches to solutions within ports, certainly security and safety, and then also the constraints that you have with finances, whether that's funding coming from the government or just your own port operations. So while ports want to build for the future, we also need to think about, hey, what is it that we can actually do in the present? And so because all those challenges are unique, our approach is to have a very customized solution that is tailored to each individual port or client, and this is how we work with all of our clients. So what is important about that is that we're able to do it in such a way that we're able to keep operations moving, that we don't have interruptions, and that we're driving value at every step of the way. So one of the things that we think about is sustainable innovation and what are the things that we can do to help. And we know that there's a lot of emphasis on environmental focus in the ports, reducing emissions, finding other ways to make ports more environmentally friendly. And so that's an absolute imperative for us in our thinking, not just in ports, but more broadly. So thinking about the maritime environments and all of those connections, how do we think from end to end about solutions that are sustainable, that mitigate impact on the environment, on marine life, and also just make things better for people as well, and give ports a better story to tell about their part in not only in global trade, but in how they impact the global ecosystem. So Fresh, again, we've been around for about 15 years, and in that time, we've developed really well-defined approaches to different types of activities, and innovation being an innovation consultancy, the innovation process is kind of core to who we are and how we solve problems. And so we have a very defined methodology, although all the problems are different. So sometimes we will adapt and change based on the opportunity in front of us. But generally, we will work to understand what the challenge is with the client, help make sure that we actually know exactly what it is that we're trying to do, frame that problem correctly so we know that we're trying to solve the correct problem. And then the ability to ideate, that can we test out some ideas and see, hey, is this actually something that might work before we go down a long path that ends up in something that ends up not being the outcome you expected, not being fruitful, or hey, we're gonna have to re-engineer this whole thing. So that idea of very early coming up with a concept, testing it quickly, and then moving forward, prototyping and testing is really critical to the innovation process. Coming out of that is a set of learnings. And from that learning and getting those key insights and synthesizing the results, that's how we then develop strategy for the next phase of work. Not everything has to be innovation. Some things are straightforward. We have this problem. It's well-defined. Help us solve it. We need talented, smart people that can come up with that solution. And certainly that is kind of our bread and butter. But innovation is what really sets us apart from everybody else, is our ability to come up with unique solutions to problems in ways that haven't been done before. One of our secret weapons in doing that is what's called Fresh Labs. I am based in Austin, Texas. Our Fresh Labs team is actually here in Austin. And this is essentially an R&D lab that's able to do very rapid prototyping of different types of concepts using some of the most advanced technologies that are known. So everything from different aspects of robotics and computer vision to augmented reality, virtual reality. So across the board, we're able to take an idea, quickly test that idea, and then determine if that is the correct solution moving forward. This saves a ton of time and a ton of money on the innovation path when you're able to have a team like this that in a matter of days or even a week can come up with something and be able to go out and test that. We were able to do that most recently with the San Antonio Spurs basketball team. We took a chat GPT capability and put it in a kiosk so that fans, when they came into the arena, were very quickly able to find their favorite food or drink or seats or other resources at the arena. And we were able to build that and deploy it within a week, which is, again, speaks largely to the incredible power of having a team like Fresh Labs. So a big core part of what we do at Fresh is digital transformation. We have a lot of clients that begin in kind of the analog space, and as they want to move towards the digital world, they need a roadmap. They need somebody that has been there before that can help guide them and drive them towards the right kind of outcome. It's not enough just to be able to implement a bunch of tools. There needs to be strategy around it, thinking, what are you going to do with that data in the future? How can it be best leveraged to provide value, to solve problems, to actually make people's lives better? And at the end of the day, if we don't build this in a way that makes people's lives better, they're not going to adopt it, and it's not going to be successful. So we're always thinking about the full spectrum of user experience, of actually, are we solving the correct problem, and also are we taking data in particular and leveraging it in such a way that it is available for things that we don't even know about now, and that might become available in the future. So clearly, efficiency is really critical for port operations, and for a lot that are still living in the digital world and things are being written down on pad with a pen, or they're in an Excel spreadsheet, they want to move that towards a repository where not only do we have a little more safety around the information, but that we're better able to leverage it. So understanding, how things operate, how we can gather that data, whether it's direct digitization, whether it's information that's pulled from cameras, any kind of sensor data, all of those things can be pulled together and then give us more transparency, more insight into what's actually happening within the port or port environment with your tenants, and then making it so that you are much more resilient to things that might happen. I think we certainly learned through COVID the impact on ports and the ability to have resiliency and how much leveraging data can make a huge difference in your ability to understand how we move goods and how we can leverage alternate resources and get things to where they need to be. A great example of where we've done this with a large client is T-Mobile. They're one of our oldest clients, actually right down the street from our headquarters. And we engaged in a really deep process with them to understand their workflows. They were very dated and inefficient. And so we helped move them into a more digital space through a transformation process. And so this really tapped into Fresh's one of our superpowers, which is multidisciplinary teams. We have, again, strategy, design, software development, hardware development. So we're able to tap into multiple skill sets, pull together what's essentially like a tiger team to help solve a problem. So, in the case of this, being able to pull into our technologists, our design capabilities and have user experience designers to build the interfaces, and then our architects who understand enterprise systems and how we do all of those integrations. So, this resulted in about $6 billion of tower units being sold for T-Mobile, and a 5 times increase in performance improvement and 200% increase in employee efficiency. So very measurable outcomes. And so these are the types of experience and skills that we bring to the table. An area where we spend a lot of time is augmented and virtual reality. A big client of ours is Meta, and we have a significant role in what we do in the metaverse and helping to build that. Mixed reality is really a key component of the future. It's that ability to supplement or overlay different types of data into the real world environment so you have more context. So this is really useful for a number of things, training in particular, in understanding, hey, what would an end state of something look like? This is used a lot in building digital twins. It helps you really understand complex systems by providing simulations and be able to make better decisions. So we're actually going to be doing at the conference in Denver in 2 weeks. We're going to be at the Ericsson booth, and we've built a augmented reality demonstration that we're calling Container Vision AR. And what this is a tablet that is connected to Ericsson's private 5G network so that we have high bandwidth data, and a tablet that will allow you to find a container. And we'll have a table full of model shipping containers. It allows you to find the container that you're looking for. And so the use case might be, during the pandemic, I'm looking for the container in this huge stack full of M90 masks, and I want to make sure that I get the right container to expedite it. So this is an example of how we can leverage existing data, metadata around the container, X-ray data from inspections, stitch all that together into a single pane of glass to be able to look at that container. So this application will allow you to find the container among many, ensure that you've got the right one, and then actually look inside the container from a 3D view and see what's happening. So I invite you, if you are at the conference in Denver, come by the Ericsson booth. We will be set up there, and you'll be able to take a tablet and be able to look at these different containers. And you'll also, we've got a little Easter egg too, a little surprise for you. So really looking forward to be able to demonstrate that. But this is an example of using a cutting edge technology to be able to take existing data and present it in a new way that enables you to be more efficient, have a higher degree of certainty, and also drive outcomes that are critical for, in some cases, saving lives. So we have a deep background in robotics and automation. We have done everything from building small robots to working with drones and computer vision and building large systems for manufacturing. And so these are one of the superpowers that we have that we can bring, whether it's automating systems within the port, doing inspection, understanding what's happening. The marine environment is really tough on everything. The ability to understand how things are changing over time and building up a database of, hey, this is, on this particular gantry, it's starting to decay at a particular rate, and being able to do capital planning and forecasting, and can come out of that ability of drones to do continuous inspections and start to build data models that help you understand what's going on. Workplace safety is a really critical component of that. Being able to have sensors or leverage computer vision with existing cameras to know if somebody's in a place where they should be, or maybe they're not wearing their PPE. So, it's a big area of efficiency for us in terms of robotics and being able to help you not only build systems that allow you to operate more efficiently and safely, but also thinking about, like, in the future, how are you going to have operations that will sustain the unintended things like people not being able to make it to work, or different weather conditions that make it really difficult to work. So a lot of opportunity in automation in ports. A great example of the work that we've done in this was with United Rentals. We built a huge fleet of automated skid steers, fully automated, that could go and clear an entire piece of land all by themselves, basically from a computer desktop. The entire fleet could be programmed what to do. So we have deep experience in this. Again, it was a good multidisciplinary team that included our really amazing robotics team, using cloud architecture, and then building the apps to help guide all of those and be able to do the mapping and see the outcomes of this robot. So we built 78 of them, and we were able to demonstrate how to clear a 500-acre work site, and really powerful demonstration of high-end automation and system. So a big part of my background has been in AI/ML. Machine learning is really a critical component to the future of technology, not only throughout all businesses, but certainly I think in ports as well. And so when we think about the opportunities in ports to leverage data, and again, if we're on a really great roadmap for digital transformation, we now have data that we trust and understand, and now can leverage with machine learning to do things that we wouldn't be able to do before. So that can be absolutely improving efficiency, to be able to rapidly respond to changing environments. So if a port is shut down by fog, the ability to rapidly reschedule and reposition assets in a way that humans, it would take hours and hours and a lot of headache, where that could be done like within minutes with machine learning solutions. A great experience that we've had in this is working with Cal Portland Cement. We have done a lot of technological innovation for them in a solution called Truck Tracks. If you think about a cement mixer, that is something that can't wait. That has to be at the right place on time. It's really critical to get the right load where it needs to be, and to get that delivered. You definitely don't want something hardening in the back of the mixer. So we've built a whole series of solutions for them. They're also multilingual solutions as well. And again, it leverages different aspects of our capabilities, including cloud architecture, building an enterprise class solution, and truly understanding logistics. And where this can have a huge impact is if you think about the number of ports where you have trucks showing up, on intermodal, and they show up and they're idling and creating a lot of pollution. That ability to have a solution that could help schedule them in a much tighter fashion, or also reschedule them if there's an incident at a port that causes delays or a shutdown. This is absolutely critical to improving efficiency and helping to drive much higher value in the port. Biometrics is another area where we have a great deal of experience and have worked with some significant partners on this. It is really kind of become the de facto critical part of enhanced security for any of you who have are a part of global entry and have returned in from overseas. When you go up to the kiosk, you don't even show your passport anymore. It scans you, it knows who you are, and it sends you off to the the inspector, and as an incredible seamless experience. This has become a big part of ticketless entry now for a lot of different type of VIP events, or even just regular like sporting events. This has become really kind of de facto. And so we're going to be seeing more and more of this, of using biometrics to understand who is where, is the right person where they need to be. Should they have access to a particular thing, having that whole digital record of what's happened, so you can recreate things should something come up, and just absolute reduction in administrative overload. Where we've had a ton of experience in this is working with NEC, in particular with Delta Airlines and Star Alliance. If you have been on a Delta flight, especially Atlanta Airport, then you've experienced the system that we helped build with NEC, which is a facial recognition system. So it has everything from allowing you to enroll to being able to just walk up and enter into, to get onto your plane. So again, this is another aspect of our multidisciplinary teams, and it has really amazing implications, maybe not only just for ports, but think about cruise ships and passenger experience and short excursions and getting back on board a boat, or maybe you want to create a VIP area and limit it to certain people and don't want to have to issue tickets. You can do all that through biometrics. So a lot of great opportunity in biometric digital ID. And again, we've handled everything from TWIC card readers to touchless access points to just pure facial recognition. So a lot of capability in that area. So how can we help you? So we have a kind of straightforward, simple methodology. We start with a conversation with Tammy, with myself, or anyone on my team. They're well-versed in everything that Fresh does. They are experts at finding solutions to problems and understanding the problems and framing them. So we can pull people in. We start with a conversation, pull team members together, and then understand, okay, this is the team that we need, and we'll find that exact right expert, and then start to build that roadmap. And so that can include moving into that innovation process, figuring out what it is that we need to do, whether it's prototyping or if it's moving directly to a solution. But everything that we do begins with a simple conversation of understanding what your needs are, making sure that we've got the right people in the room, and then figure out a path forward for you. So that is kind of Fresh in a nutshell. And so we are definitely open to any questions, and I'd love to hear any questions anyone has.
Does anybody have any questions for Steve or Tammy? Please put them in either in the question box or the chat box right now. I guess Steve, you did a great job. There's no questions.
So one of the questions that just came up I saw is how can Fresh help with cybersecurity challenges at ports? So it's a great question. So There are a number of things. One is we do have a partner that we work with that is one of the foremost experts in cybersecurity, especially around maritime and ports and government work. We work with some really key players. Tammy has a phenomenal background in security as well. The other aspect of that is how we design solutions. And so when you think about hacks, which some ports have experienced, and no one I think wants to go through that again. It's also designing your systems in a way that make them much better at resisting penetration and helping to make them resilient as well, so that you don't necessarily have to throw out every piece of equipment you have if there's an incident. So I think it's a combination of that design from the beginning and the architecture and how you approach it. Certainly there's the aspects of training, and most of the hacks are generally centered around some kind of a human shortcoming. And so it's understanding those things, and then it's the architecture of it and architecting solutions in such a way that they're going to be much more hardened and resilient. And there are a lot of things that we can do when we think about especially access to systems that are producing data about how that is protected end to end, not only from how it's gathered and stored, but also monitoring it in real time to understand are there changes going on that are outside of what we would expect to be able to raise flags.
There's a question about IT infrastructure, as well as how do we work with port tenants?
Yeah, so with port tenants, I mean, so we, Fresh works with everybody. So like I mentioned at the beginning, we work from Fortune 100, Fortune 50 companies all the way down to brand new startups that we've actually helped launch and get off the ground. So when I think about port tenants in particular, they are really in a sweet spot for Fresh because a lot of it has to do with logistics, with physical things where they need some kind of improvement, whether that's automation or just a better, more robust, hardened design. We've done extensive work with John Deere, for example, and built sensors that sit on the back of tractors and help with seed placement. We've done all kinds of really interesting work using sensor data in really harsh environments, so to help solve problems. So again, I think for a port tenant, we've got a lot of experience in working with different kinds of environments, working with different types of sensor types, gathering data, and providing solutions. So whether that's the movement of something, inspecting, or even just being able to measure the amount of, say, materials that you might have and how that might need to be moved. I think there are a lot of opportunities that we can provide there. What was the other part of that question?
IT infrastructure, I believe is what it said.
Oh, IT infrastructure, absolutely. So so we have some really great strategists and technologists. And so when we start working with a client, one of the critical aspects of that is how do you not just build for the immediate solutions that you're trying to solve for, but how do you build for that future state? And one of the cardinal sins is technologically painting yourself in a corner. And you see it a lot where somebody builds a system, and next thing you know, 5 years later, they're going to have to rip the entire thing out and start from fresh because there's a new technology out there. You can't anticipate everything, but we are always focused on what is next, what the next emerging technology is, why it's being used, the amount of traction we think it's going to gain, and understanding should we be designing for a particular future state. And so sometimes that means, in the architecture itself, we leave those opportunities. So when we think about IT structure and strategy, it's not just about that solution and how you make it performant and secure, but it's also how you create it in such a way that it's available for different types of future states that you may not have thought of yet, but at least you've left yourself a door open for it.
Hey, Steve, this is a good question from the audience. Do you actually execute the solution or only provide the solution and it's up to your client?
Excellent question. So we have done literally everything from concept to production and installation and putting things in place. One of Fresh's capabilities actually on the automation side is we've actually built systems for manufacturing. So an example is Reach Toothbrush. We actually built the assembly line for it that does the assembly, the testing, everything through to packaging. So we can do things from end to end. So, but in like a port environment solution, yes, we take something from concept to proving that out, to that kind of final architecture, and then actually doing the installation. And then there are things that we can do too in terms of support and monitoring. And there are a lot of clients where we do continuous work with them to help keep systems up and running.
I think that's all questions right now. I don't see any more coming through.
I see another one. So what's the ideal engagement structure look like for Fresh, and how do we manage projects, costs, things like that? So a really good question. So Fresh, we have to flex to our clients because we constantly have not only different types of clients, but different types of problems that have to be approached differently. It's not a one size fit all. So sometimes that means the actual structure of like the contract that we sign, the way that we bill, the way that we measure success on that is unique to that particular client. And so that also means the way in which the project is run and delivered is also suitable for the specific problem that we're trying to solve. So at a general level, we have project management teams, project management leaders. We have leaders of our practice areas that are involved in all of the solutioning. We have experts in those different areas that are part of actually delivering the work. We have all different types of oversight to ensure that we're not only delivering what we said we would on the project, but that is at the quality level that we're expecting, and also thinking about what is the next iteration that there might be of that particular solution. So our projects generally, we have a lot of 3 to 6 month projects. Certainly we've done some very larger multi-year projects, but typically, we move pretty quickly. We'll move pretty much as fast as our clients are able to move. So hopefully that helps answer that question. Another question I saw is, will your team travel to ports? If it is in a really nice, warm location, always. But no, we will always travel. In fact, I think that in the age of the post-pandemic age, we've gotten used to doing what we're doing right now, which is being in front of a camera and having a conversation, which is fine and it's immediate and it's easy, but it's not a substitute for being together. And it's not a substitute for that ability to really build trust and confidence in the people that you're working with, and also just understand how they work and the things that motivate them, which gives you assurance that, hey, we're all on the same page and driving towards the same goal. So, yes, we absolutely travel. It's a critical part of what we do, and again, absolutely amazing team on our side to work with anyone that needs help.
And any maritime ports, inland ports, we are talking to a lot of like the newly formed inland ports as well. So there's no particular size. It's small, medium, large ports. We cover them all. And like Steve said, we are traveling, meeting with folks face to face. Yep.
And there was one other question.
So I want to bring up the fact that you guys are going to be at the AAPA annual convention in a week and a half in Colorado, pretty much based in the Erickson booth, but you're going to be all around
Yep.
all around the meeting space. Come meet Tammy, come meet
Yep.
Steve. They're happy to talk with you about anything related to this or another idea you had that maybe they hadn't thought of.
Yeah, we'll be at the Erickson booth at the AAPA conference in Colorado, and we will also have a couple of our folks at the Latin American conference as well in December. So we do have two people attending that. So any global international folks on the call today, more than happy to talk to you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Also, one last thing, Steve, I'm going to give you a plug for your panel. Steve is going to be on a roundtable panel on Tuesday, October 24th, starting at 4:15 p.m. to Red Rock 7 for anybody that's going to be in Colorado. It's how smart can a port get?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, looking forward to that. And
That's going to be an amazing panel. Can't wait for that.
Thank you. There will be 7 of us at the conference in Denver, so we should be easy to find.
Yeah.
And Steve, did you want to click to the one at the end where we have some speakers sitting on the podcast with our CEO later November and December?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, absolutely. So yes, so Fresh has a phenomenal podcast called The Future Of, and we focus on different areas. And this comes out almost every couple weeks, and everything from work that we've done in medical device technology to kind of the future of the web. If there's something that is forward thinking, it's in our Future Of podcast. Our CEO Jeff Dance hosts that podcast. November 17th, Paul Matthews, CEO at Port of South Louisiana, and Sean Jar from Central Utah Agri-Park Inland Port, and Kristen Dekas, who's the port director at Port Hueneme. They will be a part of that podcast, which is the Future of Port Innovation. And then December 8th, we'll have the Future of Port Policy and Finance, and that will feature our own Kerry Davis, president of AAPA. So super excited to have him involved in that. So again, we post those podcasts on our website and also on LinkedIn. So if you follow any of us on LinkedIn, when that pops up, you'll see it, or just follow Fresh on LinkedIn as well. So absolutely looking forward to those podcasts and us digging into what the future of looks like. And again, I'll be talking about how smart ports can get in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. For anybody that doesn't know Steve and Tammy, they are great to talk to. Like, they're not standoffish. Like, you can just sit down and have a coffee with them and talk about anything that you have, even in an idea in your mind for your company. Please come and see them in Colorado. Or if you're not coming to our annual convention, I'm sorry you're not. You see their closing slide with their contact information. Please reach out to them. They're more than happy to engage with you in any capacity. So any last questions?
I think Daniel had one quick one, which was about positioning detection systems and containers. Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of experience. We have an RF lab, a full-blown RF lab. We're able to do all kinds of board prototyping. We have a firmware department. So we do a lot with IoT and with positioning and with signal work. So ton of work that we can do there that would be, in terms of unique solutions or working with off-the-shelf solutions to improve performance. Oop, I think you're on mute, Liz.
Sorry. Sorry, Steve. I just want to say thanks to you, Steve and Tammy, for that great, topical, insightful presentation today. I hope all of you in attendance felt you gained something useful and helpful in your day-to-day work. Again, reach out to Steve, Tammy. You see their contact information on the screen. If you didn't get that, reach out to me. I will definitely get you in contact with them. For people that are coming to Colorado to our annual convention, yes, once again, they will be housed in the Erickson booth in the exhibit hall. But if you don't find them, find me in the AAPA booth. I will direct you to them. But before you sign off, I just want to, I'm going to take back the screen for just a minute. Because I just want to just a second. You guys see my screen?
Yes.
For the convention. Okay, so here's all our events upcoming. Obviously, annual convention. So it's aapa-ports.org if you're not familiar with it. And then at the top, go to AAPA events. Here is our annual convention, our Latin American Convention of Ports and Barranquilla in December, our Powers program, which is going to be a sellout. I'm going to tell you all right now, it's going to be a sellout quick because it was a sellout last year in its inaugural year. Our legislative summit in March, port terminal operations management in April, port admin in June, smart ports in Seattle, Washington, which we hosted in Boston in July, which was a sellout, and back again to our annual convention. So I just want to say this concludes our program for today. Thank you, everybody, for your time and attention. Thanks again to Steve and Tammy for your time and your presentation, sharing your knowledge and expertise with us. I hope everybody, you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. I hope to see you. Our next new member webinar is November 9th with Fujitsu. So look into your incoming messages in your inbox, probably in the next week or so, with the announcement and the invitation to that. And anytime you have any questions about your AAPA membership, reach out to me. Thanks, everybody.
Perfect.
Thank you,
Thank
Liz.
you, Liz.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Thanks, guys. Bye.